Talk about Josh Gordon. I'll talk about how great Aaron Rodgers is. I'll talk about how bad Tom Brady has been, but no LeBron. Please?
Okay,
just for one day?
I won't say a name. I'll say Go James.
Oh, thank you.
Does that count?
Yep, here we go.
Well, sorry to burst your bubble, Skip, because we are starting with LeBron. The Lakers, who have secured their superstars this week. LeBron signed a 2-year extension. Anthony Davis got a 5-year deal. Now, with the exception of one title, all other Laker championships have come in groups with no more than 2 years apart at a time. So LeBron and AD got their first one together a couple of months ago. So, Shannon, will this become another Lakers dynasty?
No. You hear what Alex say? You hear what Alex say? With the exception
and Alex is a what? A huge Laker fan, born and raised in Los Angeles.
Alex said with the exception of maybe a handful of them. Yeah. So normally they come like 3s and 2s, and 2s and 3s.
Yeah,
Skip, how are we defining dynasty, Skip? Tell me how you define dynasty.
3.
Okay, 3. I'm going to say, Skip, if they stay healthy, because this is unprecedented. Because normally we see teams that get 3, their best players are in their prime. You know, Kobe, Shaq. Shaq was barely in his 20s. Shaq was, what, 24, 25. Michael Jordan, when he wrapped up his second three-peat, Skip, he was 35. We got LeBron about to be 36, the best player, so we've never seen this before. Also, luck plays a large part of this, Skip, because the Warriors dynasty got started.
Thank you.
Kyrie and Kevin Love was injured. Also, what happened? Chris Paul injured his hamstring, so that helps. So a lot of things have to go into it. Skip, you say 3, and that means 3 and 5 years, so that means LeBron is going to be 40 years of age at the end of this 5-year run. So I'm going to say 80% say they do become a dynasty. If LeBron would say 32, no question about it, I would say they're going to run off 3 the next, they're 3-peat. But because he's 36 and we've never seen anything like this, I'm going to say there's an 80% chance, Skip, they get a dynasty and they get 3 titles in 5 years. But probably by year 3, the roles will have to totally reverse. Anthony Davis will hands down have to be their best player, and they're probably going to have to add another piece. So I'm going to say 80% yes, they will become a dynasty. But, Skip, this is unprecedented. Like I said, Kobe and Shaq, when they got the 3-peat, you look at McHale, Bird, and Parrish, you look at them. Skip, they're in their early 20s. You look at teams, normally their star players are in their early 20s, mid-20s tops. And so we've never seen anything like this. But I'm going to say 80% chance they do. They do become a dynasty.
Okay. I'm going to give you this before I launch all over this. LeBron had the greatest 17th-year season in the history of this league. I thought he should have won MVP during the regular season.
Okay.
I will give you that even going forward into next year, as he turns 36 on December the 30th,
Correct.
So we're getting close.
Yes.
Year 18, I'm still going to give you that you have 2 of the top 5 players in the league.
Absolutely, yes.
And when you have 2 of the top 5, you obviously have a great chance to win it all.
Yes.
So you do have a chance to turn into a dynasty.
Right.
Now, for my gut feeling on this, I have never in my life heard such delusional gloating as I have to live with every day, getting hit between the eyes from across the table.
I ain't gloat.
I love your delusional gloating because the higher the expectations, now that you've gone to 80% dynasty, the longer and harder the fall. And when they fall next year on their faces, you're going to have a long, hard year right over there in that chair here on Undisputed.
I didn't say 100%.
That seat is going to get hotter and hotter. You got lucky. Your team got lucky. You got every break imaginable all the way through the bubble. It was meant to be, but it was fluky because in the end, I'm sorry, it was a pandemic championship. In the end, you popped the bubbly in a bubble in which the Clippers did not want to be. You know that, and I know that.
Skip.
To me, your team proved very little last year because of all the breaks. So let's just start with the NBA landscape. You alluded to it in your first salvo. Obviously, there was no Kevin Durant in sight last year. He was rehabbing his Achilles. And furthermore, he had left Golden State, and all of a sudden, there's no Clay, and there's no Steph in Golden State. And incredibly to me, a dynastic Golden State team suddenly turned into the worst team in basketball last year. They had the worst record in basketball.
So you believe Golden State, even without KD, would have beat the Lakers?
No, I just say you would have had a threat. You would have had another obstacle. And if he had opted to stay there, then you would have had undoable.
Well, let's give that's a whole different argument. Now, we got to go by what we got.
Okay.
He was not there.
Okay, so here we come with the Clippers. And they were the favorite going into the season. They were the favorite going into the playoffs. You cannot erase the fact that they were the odds makers' favorite even going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you cannot erase the fact that coming out of the All-Star break, they took off. Your team was playing well too, but so were they.
We was playing better, though.
No, you were not playing better.
We beat them and the Bucks.
Okay, you beat them because Avery Bradley made like 19 threes.
Skip, it doesn't matter why, but we did.
He had as uncharacteristic a shooting night as you will ever see, and that's why you barely held off the Clippers in that game. The Clippers had ripped off 6 straight games, and Doc was on record as saying, we finally figured it out. We're finally clicking. Remember, Paul George was coming off double shoulder surgery. So he and Kawhi, for all the regular season, wound up playing just barely 50% of their games.
Right.
So they were taking off. They needed reps. They needed to try to continue to click at a higher and higher level. And what happened right on schedule for your guy? Pandemic hit. All of a sudden, it's wiped out the season. It's almost 5 months off for a LeBron James in year 17 who desperately needed to revitalize his body and get ready for the playoff
But did
run.
he, at any point in time, did he look like he was slowing down?
No, but you know and I know he was on an MVP pace.
Yes.
And I know what would have happened. He would have just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it all the way home. And if they had completed an 82-game season, you would have been, I'm going to knock on wood, I don't even like to bring this up, but you would have been in grave jeopardy of him pulling something somehow, getting hurt, being hobbled, going into the playoffs limpy or gimpy. You know it and I know it. He got almost 5 months to get his body right. And we all know LeBron is great at getting his body right. So he went to the bubble not only right physically, but he was right mentally because nobody embraced the bubble better than LeBron did. He turned into the ultimate bubble leader.
But Skip, hold on. I'm just trying to figure this out now. You have told us, and you've been saying this for the last probably 6 or 7 years, that LeBron James is the most mentally weak superstar that we've ever seen.
In the clutch, yeah. And you know why? You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because there was one bubble game that was a turning point game. You got the break of your life, Mr. James, GOAT James. Remember what happened at the end of Game 2 against the Nuggets in the conference finals? Do you remember this game?
Yeah, I remember we won.
Yeah, I remember that the reason you won was that GOAT James got the play called for him. Remember that? And Rondo said, I locked eyes with LeBron, and he did not move. You know why he didn't move? Because he was 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter, 0 for 3 from 3, and 0 for 1 from the free throw line. So he did not move, and he got saved by an Anthony Davis who looped all the way across the top of the formation, all the way across the top. And I don't know what Plumlee was doing. He goes over like LeBron's going to do something.
He worried about what you seem to be unconcerned about, GOAT James.
The play, according to Rondo, playoff Rondo, was called for GOAT James. And he froze. The chosen one became the frozen one. And Anthony Davis, wearing Mamba jersey, suddenly channeled Kobe Bryant. And what did he yell as the ball left his hand?
We know it was good.
Kobe! He yelled Kobe.
So let me ask you a question.
And he ripped it and saved you.
So in other words,
he saved you from the infamy of, I froze on the last play.
So let me ask you a question. So you believe had the Nuggets won that game, they would have won the series. Is that what you're saying?
I don't. They were so hot at that point. If it's all of a sudden 1-1, I think you got some bubble trouble. And speaking of bubble trouble, look at what happened to the Clippers. I just want Laker Nation to focus on what happened. Right away, Zubats and Landry Shamet test positive for COVID.
Okay.
So they can't even enter the bubble. Then right on schedule, Marcus Morris and Jermichael Green, they came very late to the bubble for personal reasons. Then Montrez and Pat Beverly and Lou Williams, they each had to leave the bubble for personal reasons obviously we know each had a different situation.